Hi everyone, it's Maggie again. Here I am. I think it's April 11th. Hard to keep track of days and time, but I'm sitting out at my peaceful place. I'm actually on the hammock that my children bought for Keith and I for our anniversary because it's a good memory when we went camping, laying on the hammock, and that was just before I found out that I was sick. I knew I was tired, but I wasn't really sure what was going on. But it's more about Esophageal Cancer Awareness Month. I'm going to read to you a letter that was written for a school project, and it's called One Word. And you can interject this into any part of your life, because one word can change your life forever. One word. Who would ever have thought one word could change me forever? Well, I sure didn't. January 13th, 2006 was the day my life got flipped around. This is what I believe made me who I am today. The one word that I never knew that could be so horrifying was cancer. And that day I mentioned earlier was the day I found out my father was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. He started off his journey as a short, husky-built man and a beautiful thick head of red hair. But that soon changed. I remembered it like it was yesterday, sitting in the hospital room waiting for hours, pacing back and forth and trying to make time pass. Those were the longest 8 hours of my life. I'll never forget going into the ICU once I was finally able to see my dad. It didn't even look like him. He was lifeless, had tubes in his throat, nose, sides. It seemed as if there were just tubes everywhere, and I would sit there and talk to him, hoping he would talk back. But because of the amount of tubes in his throat and the amount of pain medication he needed, it was like I was talking to a ghost. It was so hard for me to see him like that, but I felt as if I needed to be there for him. When I left the hospital at night, I felt like I was abandoning my father, and it tore me up inside. I am grateful that my father survived the surgery. After his surgery, he had to start chemotherapy, and he would go twice a week, and every time he came home, he was sick as ever. I hated the sounds of him crying or vomiting, but it seemed as if that was all I heard. He couldn't eat, he couldn't drink, he couldn't sleep. I would go into his room about 3 times a day, I believe, to change his IV bags and put medications and vitamins in to help sustain him. After about a month on the chemo, it was like he was just withering away. He had to sleep in a hospital bed because he needs to sleep at an inclined angle. If he doesn't, he has a chance that he will aspirate. He went from a short, stocky man to a smaller and smaller and smaller man. He was just so frail. He was skin and bones, and he didn't completely lose his hair. It just wasn't as thick and shiny as it used to be. It just seemed like I was losing my father. These have been the longest, hardest 4 years of my life. I had no choice. I needed to grow up a lot, faster than my friends. I had to learn to be strong, and grateful God gave me my daddy back. To this day, I can't even think of what it would be like to lose him, and I have lost many people in my life. Even though he might not even know, it has helped me so much in life. I learned to appreciate the little things and the little time we have with the ones we love. Before everything he went through, I was naive to the world. He helped me open my eyes that you need to cherish the time you have with each other and not fight over the petty stuff. You can never really realize how much you love someone until you're about to lose them. All I know is this crazy journey we have all been through has made me, to what I believe, a strong, good-hearted woman. This was written by an EC fighter, a daughter who was 12 years old, and it took Keith and I 10 days to be able to figure out how we were going to tell our teens who were just starting their lives that there was a chance that their father was not going to make it. And the reason I'm broadcasting this is because, I see all these foundations on esophageal cancer, and what they're doing, yes, they're telling success stories, but they're not actually telling the ones that are not really bouncing back without the complications that Keith and many, many survivors have had. or the people that have been left behind by this cancer. I mean, heartburn can kill you. It's as simple as that. And I know there is more to this than just heartburn. I know there are genetic factors. There are many people in our support groups that have generations of Barrett's, have generations of esophageal cancer, whether it is environmental factors, whether it is what we are eating. This is increasing at 600% per year. I mean, we all remember ovarian cancer. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew what it was until Gilda Radner came public with her life. I'm not Gilda Radner. I'm just a middle-class woman who doesn't want anybody else to suffer. And that's why we have many support groups on Facebook for esophageal cancer patients. Bottom line is most don't make it, and that's the sad part. 4 out of 5 do not survive esophageal cancer. But it is a crapshoot, and you always have hope because it doesn't matter what stage you are in. I'll tell you a story because I started a esophageal support group for people that have lost their loved ones. Because in the groups where people are fighting, you don't want to hear people losing their loved ones. It's just a matter of fact. You tend to ignore that because you don't want to hear it, because you don't want to face the reality that this can happen. And you want to be that 1%. We never thought we would be that 1%. So I have to keep coming public with our lives. And I'm going to tell you a story of a woman who I met. And we call her Pooh. She's just an awesome woman. And sadly, her husband never even got to fight the cancer. He passed away during surgery to a condition called ARDS, and basically it was traumatic damage to his lungs. And this is a complication that can happen. Many complications can happen, and that's why we have to keep doing research, and we have to keep people listening. Cancer is not fun, okay? And it is not a joke. And, you know, once you get past the first year, it's like you don't exist to most people because it's hard to watch people suffer. I know that. I've watched many people in my life suffer because Keith and I come from big families, very big families, and we've lost a lot of our families, a lot of them to cancer. You know, my father passed away of adenocarcinoma of the lung, which is a rare lung cancer. Non-smoker, you tell me. But I do want to tell you about Pooh because she was in the support group for, and we call it our hero group, because they are heroes. Because if you see what they have to go through to fight for their lives, you would not imagine. It is not like any other cancer because you have to rearrange the whole body in order for them to survive. Pooh put a post out that she just couldn't do it anymore. Her husband had been gone 3 years, I think, at this point. Her refrigerator was broken. I happened to be online because I was an insomniac until they put me on this new medication. And I talked her through it, and I calmed her down, and I said, "What's going on?" She said, "My fridge won't work, and I don't know what to do." You know, I had to learn a lot when Keith got sick, and, you know, when our fridges broke, we had to figure out how to fix it because we couldn't afford to fix them. So from here to, sorry, Pooh, I can't remember which state you're in. Illinois, Indiana, one of those states, could be Kentucky, because we are from all over the country, we are from all over the world, and we are I guess you want to call us a family of people that just understand each other. And Pooh was able to listen to me and breathe and calm down because sometimes you have to talk yourself through this. It's not easy for life to still be going on around you and having to still face battles or to be stuck in chronic grief. And chronic grief can happen if you don't talk about it. I know people are tired of hearing me talk about it, but I have to get out of this grief. I have to get out of the pain. And the only way to get out of the pain is to help others. And that's what I try to do. I reach out to the ones that are suffering. And I was able to ask Pooh if she ever cleaned the back of the fridge, because I knew Matthew had been gone for 3 years. And she didn't know she had to do that. And then I asked her to reach in the back and ask her if it was plugged, if she felt ice, and it was. So I talked her through cleaning it, shutting everything down, and I want to say about 6 hours later when she put it on, she had an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, and her and I have a plan. One day we're going to meet up and we're going to have an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. I know it's Easter time for the Christians, and I know that it's Passover right now for all my Jewish friends. I wish you happy holidays, and I'm not trying to bring anybody down by my broadcasts. I am trying to make people aware. You're sitting around the table. Watch the ones that are chewing on the Tums. Watch the ones that are hiccuping after they're eating. Watch the ones that just are losing weight and just not noticing what is happening. It's the simple little things that you need to notice to try to save your life. Heartburn can kill. I can't say it any simpler. And you know what? It didn't kill us. Many things have not killed us as of yet. I mean, we all are going to die. It's a matter of fact. That's life. It's what we do while we're living this life. And what I'm trying to do is trying to get people to listen, because we have been screaming for 12 years. We have been public for 12 years. And I am still running into people in my own community that do not even know what esophageal cancer is. Didn't even know Keith had it. And we have been in the paper. We have been published. We keep coming forward with our lives for a reason. We don't want you guys to go through this. Ask everyone in our groups. We were on Channel 8 News, and Keith was well enough to speak on Channel 8 News with the Smilo Cancer Center at Yale that we appreciate so much. Dr. Jill Lacey, phenomenal oncologist. Dr. Salem, who did his Keith's surgery, does not do them anymore. But I'm going to keep broadcasting, and I'm going to keep screaming, and I'm going to keep writing, and I'm going to keep looking at these foundations where I really think all these esophageal foundations need to merge together and be one place so we can all be heard from around the world. My first broadcast did get a lot of views, and I am getting emails from people around the world. Women from Singapore, people from California, people that grew up here in Ansonia that don't even live in the state. It's amazing the people that I've reached, and it's just because I'm speaking to you. I don't care about material things. We all go to the same place, whatever you believe, even if you don't believe in anything. I just want people to be kind to each other. I want people to help each other. Don't slam that door in another person's face, because life is precious. We're all precious. There is not a person that is not precious. For the people that are not in our private group, we know that so dramatically. It's been actually just a year that our granddaughter was critically ill. And by the grace of God, she survived, she recovered, and she is a terror right now. Hopefully going to school soon. Yes, she's going to be 4 in June already. And she's what keeps us going. Her and April, her oldest sister, are the only reason that we haven't given up and said, you all fend for yourselves. We're just going to take off and enjoy our lives until it's done. Can't do that. My son decided to have kids, so we're going to keep moving forward. All my broadcasts are not going to be sad or depressing, but you have to realize cancer, no matter what it is, take that one word and put in there whatever you are suffering from, whether it's chronic pain, whether it's diabetes, whether it's Alzheimer's. There is something that is affecting every family out there. But most people just want to ignore it if it's not affecting them, and that's okay, because you know what? I was one of you people. And that was until I lost my parents. When I lost my parents at a young age, I went into healthcare because I wanted to make sure that I could do the best to my ability to try to help people, to try to not have families suffer. And I was realistic, and I was in the hospital with every single one of my aunts when they were in the hospital, and I worked night shift, and I would go and sit with them, and I would talk with them. And you know what? What a great husband I had. He would wait until I come home at 2, 3 in the morning because he knew that was what I needed to do. Not sure why this path has been chosen for us, but I know there is a reason this path has been chosen. And, you know, I wish everybody best health. I'm not sure if I'm going to come back before the holidays are over. But if not, please all be safe. Enjoy your time with your families, and, you know, just tell each other you love each other, because it's one day at a time, and that's all I can say. You know, I sometimes feel like the devil's right in my back, but I know the Lord's right behind him, and that's how I'm going to live my life each day as I can. Love yous all. Have a good night.